Hello, everyone. Happy Saturday. This will air on Saturday. Today we are here to meet with Diane Evans, who I'm very excited for you guys to meet. We met at a medical physical wellness fair, and she was over in the corner, and she had the kind of most authentically magical feeling vibe of in the room to me of just like, oh my gosh, there's a medicine woman over there, or there's something going on over there. So, Diane, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from? What do you do? Things like that.
Okay. Well, I was born and raised in Japan. I was a military brat, but I am fifth generation a shaman on my mother's side, and our family came from just south of St. Louis, Port de Seal, Mexico. And then on my father's side, I'm Scottish, and I'm fourth generation Druid on his side. And so to say that my spiritual journey started young, is probably an understatement. I started seeing when I was about 6 years old. I saw portals open. I saw entities of all different kinds, positive and lower vibration. My grandmother told me at that time, she said, Mija, you're sixth generation and this would be your walk. And I'm like, I don't know about that. And she's like, you're gonna help a lot of people and you'll be able to do a lot more. And I'm just like, I don't know. What
Hmm.
I saw already, I was scared. So I didn't know if I wanted to take this walk, but true to most spiritual journeys, spiritualist journeys, we go through a lot of lessons, a lot of harder, rougher experiences early on to help us evolve and help us really grow as individuals. And for me, it was no different. I came up in a very rough environment as a child. The system missed me, but my spiritual connection ultimately held me and grounded me. And at the time, I kind of just thought it was weird because I had this ability to daydream, and what I daydreamed would come to life. Or if I spoke to the elements, I spoke to the wind, or speaking to spirit, I would ask, you know, it to switch directions to confirm what I was feeling or that I wasn't alone. And it was really those early years that helped me develop and to know my connection to a level that really kind of feeds me now, where no matter how life is throwing it at me, like today has been a very interesting day, a lot of things thrown at me. But ultimately, every step of it, I understand constantly that it's in my highest good. It's all aligned, it's all meant to be, and there's a lesson in every element of it. So, moving forward, um, it was kind of interesting because I did not grow up around my native culture. I didn't grow up around the Druid culture. I actually grew up around the Buddhist culture.
Wow.
And I developed a lot of meditation, a lot of going within, channeling my chi, my energy, and really recognizing myself. And I was always drawn to the water. The water speaks to me, and I could, what they call a dream walker. I could enter other people's dreams as they would go to share them, or if I come in to say my brother who would be dreaming and I could tell he was struggling with something in it, I could enter his dream. I could sit down beside him and I just somehow could always put myself in the cave or wherever he was. So it was a beautiful gift in many ways. It was something that I could feel naturally. And a lot of people have the gift of being able to walk into a room or something and just they can sense good versus maybe I don't want to walk over there or talk to that person. That was very early on for me, and it ultimately saved my life more times than not. And by the time I was 14, I was told I couldn't have children. I would never have children, but I am a mother to four beautiful children. The day I was told by multiple doctors, and I said, I prayed to God and asked for an angel to come in and show me a dove, a live white dove, and I wanted to see it land right in front of me. 15 years later, I was walking through a Walmart and on the jewelry counter spinner right in front of me in Litchfield, Illinois, a white dove came and landed. And 4 days later, I found out I was going to be a mom. I was pregnant. And the odds, they had no explanation, none whatsoever. And I called out everything about my children. I called out the order in which they would come in, their age ranges apart. I even called out my husband. So, and that was all at 6 years old. So at 6, it's kind of an interesting age because it really turned on for me. Everything became very, very, hello, door opened. Magic is real and this is your world. So, and I grew up in a home that was very Catholic and Southern Pentecostal. Stepdad was Southern Pentecostal, mom was Catholic, and religion was very strange to me because I was always traveling around the world and it was kind of go wherever you were sent on Sunday, whatever the closest church was on Sunday. So by the time I was 15, I actually wrote a thesis, my college thesis, Cults versus Religion, because to me, I could see it all as energy. And I recognized the world in a very different way than I felt most people did. It seemed to me that we were all connecting to the same thing. We just labeled it all a little different. Granted, by the time I was 15, I had seen 42 states in 12 countries. So I was pretty well traveled and pretty open to what most of the world was showing me, at least at that point. And
Can I say something?
yeah,
So for everyone listening, so Diane, I was looking for a chart, but I guess we pulled her chart up on Shane's phone. But she has a Sun Mercury or Sun Mars conjunction in Gemini, opposed Jupiter Uranus conjunction in Sag. And at the age of 6, Jupiter would have been hitting that, to because I feel like that Sun Jupiter Uranus is these like constant epiphanies, and especially like in these spiritual epiphany kind of things, and like that's part of like your
yeah,
shamanic gift is that Sun Jupiter Uranus, and so just the unveiling of that with Jupiter hitting it at 6, I just think is really interesting. I just
yeah.
had to say that.
No, and actually, even with the current astrology, it's been really interesting for me because my Uranus is in Saturn and it came into Gemini. And so here recently, and my Pluto is in Libra.
Uh-huh.
So it's been very interesting recently as I've been called forward to, as far as my shamanic side, especially on the Toltec line, which the Toltecs were in many ways dream weavers, or they can dream the reality into existence, or they could tap into somebody else's energy and they would receive the dream of what was going to happen with that person. And I've had my gifts called a lot of things by different people, different practitioners. I think the best one or the most modern way I've heard it recently is I get YouTube shorts. And I was like, when they told me that, I was like, YouTube shorts. Okay.
So
Yeah.
wait, so you get visions for people. You basically see their manifestation in picture form in your mind, kind of thing.
Yeah. I can get picture. I mean, I do channel, I do receive, I can hear, I can smell, I can taste, I can feel. I get my at this point in time, I'm so connected. I get it in all the formats. However, my most earliest gift that ever showed up was my sight, my ability to see. And yes, I get visions. I manifested or saw my husband as a child. I saw my counterpart behavior or counterpart when I was a child. Even the man I know as my twin flame.
Hmm.
I actually knew his name even when I was a child. I talked to him in the mirror, and having met him at this point in my life, and he is an actual part of my life at this point, we've had so many discussions on it, and we were recently brought back in to communication and into contact with each other. And we always know it comes in when we're ready for the next level of ascension or the next level of our journey to grow and learn. And it was so funny because as I went to meet with him yesterday, I kept hearing Black Swan, Black Swan. And I was like, okay. Because I'm at a point where I'm like, all right, Spirit, I'm pretty done with the twin flame walk. I was like, I know who I am. I'm good, and I'm like, if I'm supposed to drop my guard and actually be open to this being a new beginning for him and I, then I don't want to see one. I want to see two. So
Wow.
I met him in Tacoma at Lake Wapato Park, and usually there's geese or a lot of white swans there. Um, I was walking around yesterday morning. We got three-quarters of the way around, and all of a sudden, here come a black swan.
Oh no.
And then about 2 seconds later, I hear splash, and here come a second one.
Oh my God. You and your twin flame.
I was like, okay, spirit, all right, and it was
Wait,
so funny.
so I have to know. I have to know this.
Yeah.
Now, can you do your psychic abilities on command, or do they just happen to you kind of the command of the universe?
They always come with the command of the universe, but I am a person who can tap in all the time. I'm an open channel. In fact, I don't ever really close. I don't see a point in it. I found early on because of what I was going through that connection is what kept me grounded, kept me sane, kept me in a place of knowing I was never alone. I was always protected. So I keep it open all the time, and I teach my children to keep it open all the time because ultimately, if we're only going when we need, then we could be missing when we don't need, or when we think we don't need. We're trying to control. The spiritual walk is not about control. It's about being open to the lessons and being in gratitude for the journey and the walk and what we do have and what we can receive. When we are trying to control the gift, it can sometimes block and hinder what we truly can manifest and receive. And I've ended up traveling around. I had a dream to backpack Europe. I saw it when I was a kid. And 3 years ago, I all of a sudden got an invite to a wedding in Italy. And I was like, at the time I was dating somebody and I kind of looked at them and I'm like, hey, you want to do this? And they're like, yeah, let's go. And I kind of laughed at them and I was like, okay. And the next thing you know, I had a vacation package that I forgot about. Someone calls and like, hey, you got a week stay anywhere in the world, just pick your spot.
Wow.
And he had one as well. And the next thing you know, we were backpacking Europe for a full month. We ended up seeing 5 countries, and it was just because I was open. I wasn't supposed to end up at this class where I had gotten invited to this wedding, and like everything synchronistically happened because I followed my guidance system. I followed my signs. I,
Well, so in some ways it's like, okay, so it's like, I almost want to ask about what your relationship with God is in general. But it's like I think we learn the lesson like in recovery of like, God, what is your will for my life, right? And I feel like you have that openness to say like, God, what is your will for my journey, and then be open to those signs. Is that kind of how you see it?
yes and no. All right, so I should tell you that I did end up going to college at first as a designer, interior and graphic, but then the 2007 recession hit, and I ended up going in. I was guided to go in to be an electrician. So I went to school to be an electrician. I was a union electrician for 15 years before I stepped into my full calling as a shaman. And while I was in school, and I questioned why I was being sent for electrical. I mean, I was always good at mathematics, but why electric? But it was actually the study of energy that I was being guided there for, to understand. And being a person who traveled the world as much as I did, there's always these fights and arguments in cultures and different places about what we are, what we're supposed to believe, what label, this label, that label. But when you study energy and you study the science base of who we are, what we are, we're all particles of mass. We're vibrating at a constant frequency. And that's why sound and light and all of these things can ultimately affect that energy in us. So when I was guided to understand the science base of who and what we are, and to recognize that all of this other stuff is just labels, it really opened my channel even more. it helped me understand why I could communicate with deities, Isis, Thor, Odin. I mean, so many different energies would come at me, would have conversations with me. And I was like, and at that time, I didn't even know my druid background on that level because I hadn't come into the contact with my biological father yet. So
Hmm.
I was very in the dark about that. And to have all of these druid energies and ancestors come to me, and I couldn't understand what was happening until I got to understanding the science of what we are. Energy can never dissipate. It has to just go into something else.
Hmm.
So when you stay in open channel, basically it's like always having the power breaker on. It's always saying, okay, whatever energy needs to flow to and from me is available, is open to flow. And that's how I work with it. I actually hate the label of even shaman or druid. I mean, do I understand that that's connected to my ancestral lineage? Yes. But at the end of the day, what I do, what you guys do, we all have gifts. We all connect to the energy all around us all the time, and we can call upon it. One of the greatest lessons I ever learned from Creator was to develop a spiritual no, a spiritual stop. And I've always been into numerology, still am. So I decided, everybody does the like 444, 333, 222, 1111. Those numbers. They're so synchronistic. Everybody, recognizes when they're seeing them a lot and always will go to those as confirmation, as positive things, and they are. But I needed something, I was guided to pick something that spoke to me. And when I saw it, I would pause, hold up, stop. So I decided on the number 212. And to show how synchronistic this is, one, I got a call today. I told you guys it was a little bit of a crazy, hectic day.
Hmm.
I got a call today saying that my kid was being rushed to the hospital. I need to get there. There was an emergency, an accident happened. And I was just like, oh, okay. And I scrambled. I almost canceled this. And I got my vehicle and I'm driving there. And all of a sudden, I noticed the license plate in front of me said boy. And I'm like, okay. Usually, when I see the word boy, it's teenage mentality. It's something about somebody being about that juvenile teenager level. And I'm like, okay. And then the next vehicle, I saw 212. And my little boy was next to me. And I'm like, yeah, I'm getting a no right now. And I'm not sure why I'm getting my no. I go, but I'm getting a no right now. And it has something to do with juvenile. And I'm like, okay. I get to the hospital and I find out it wasn't my son who was injured, it was his friend. So the no is spirit letting me know it wasn't my boy, it wasn't mine. But
Interesting.
another beautiful example of why we can develop this when we're willing to truly commit to our word with spirit. Because it's like, go ahead.
Well, okay, so it's in two thoughts here. One of them is I got diagnosed with schizophrenia for tripping on license plates. One of the things they put me in the hospital for is seeing license plates, but it's like when you're a psychic, like you see messages everywhere, and it's like
Everywhere.
the cars talk to me constantly, and it's
Yes,
it's what they would call augury. It's like reading the birds or reading flocks
Mhm.
of birds. It's like a modern form of
I
augury. It's like
I can do that.
oh my God. See,
I,
that's the thing is like I just think it's such an interesting thing for anyone who's watching that for psychics, seeing messages everywhere is the job. It's the job of a psychic is to see the magic all over the place and to notice that. The other thing I want to bring up is Jay-Z. We work a lot on flow at this studio. So we always talk about flow. So it's like we say, I flow at you, you catch the ball, flow back at me. We flow all the time. And what I hear about you saying, Diane, is that you're saying that you made a contract with the universe where you said, I am open to flow. I am not going to stop flow or shut down flow. And I think that's such a good lesson for everyone listening. It's like if you want magic to happen in your life, be open to the flow and flow with people. It's people who shut down that energy is where the magic stops.
100%. And here's something I've also learned, because I'll be honest, I've been in and out of therapy my entire life. I've been diagnosed schizophrenic, manic depressant, bipolar. Like I've had all the labels, even CPTSD.
Wow.
And I have also gotten clear diagnosis of I don't have any of them as well after being diagnosed with them. Same doctors.
Wow.
So what I can say is that there is a lot out there in the medical field and in the mental diagnosis and mental capacities that is still being uncovered and still being learned.
Mhm.
As far as people having gifts, man, dudes, the women only got the right to vote in the 60s, okay? I mean, let's face it, humanity is slow to catch up sometimes, okay?
Yeah,
Science is slow to catch up. Medical field is slow to catch up, you
yeah.
know? So,
Well, I have
I,
this really advanced form of reading cards. Like whenever I do a production decision that's really scary, I go out and read. Now I just go out and read cards, and I'm like, "There's an orange car." Like in every different color car is a different person on our team. So I'd be like, "Orange cars are Scott, and green cars are Larry," and I'd be like, "Scott says this about that, Larry says this about." But I go out and read cards like really fast, and it's like. I think we should be seen as having superpowers for being able to do augury, not being schizophrenic. I mean, that's so soothing to me that we both have this diagnosis. This show's not about me, it's about you, but we both are working psychics. And I think the fact that you've had that journey of as well, it was just helpful for these viewers of people who are having spiritual emergencies or spiritual emergence or whatever. It's like it's okay to read cars and license plates and see magic everywhere. You can either choose to call it schizophrenic or you choose to say like I have a gift. And I think letting someone pathologize you is it's I don't know. It's sorry, I didn't mean to do.
no, no, I actually 100% agree. I mean, I have four children who have all got diagnosis and all have spiritual gifts, and they've been confirmed. My son has the gift of sight. He's been able to enter a building and he could see a woman actually being hurt in this building. Now, this happened 10 years before we ever moved into this building. There's no signs, no nothing. Hell, none of the decor is even the same. But one day, speaking to the manager of the building, I asked her, I was like, my son was there with me because he hated going through this area because every time he went through it, he saw the energy that was still held in that space from that incident. So one day, asking the manager, I was like, anybody ever tell you they hear anything or see ghosts or anything down this hall? And she's like, yeah, she really went quiet. She just kind of froze for a second. I'm like, okay. And she goes,
Wow.
are you seeing it? And I said, well, I can sense it. I said, but I know it's not a threat to me, so I've got enough skill set to just shut it down. It
Yeah,
doesn't affect me. I
yeah.
said, but my son, I go, he's getting a full vision of a woman being chased into that apartment right over there. And it seemed to be maybe her husband or a man that she knew, but ultimately she didn't make it out of that room. And the manager confirmed that 10
Wow.
years prior, a woman had been harmed by her husband. She was running from him and
Wow.
she didn't make it out of that room. And it was one of those moments that was like, my son has fortuitous dreams. He has a lot of the same gifts as I do.
Mhm.
And he's not even my most powerful child.
Wow. Well, it's interesting that you're on the astrology school show because it's like astrologers, at least good ones, know that people are psychic because there are psychic charts. And it's like there are charts that are not psychic. And that's where it in there and psychicism comes in cyclically on the transits. So it's like a psychic isn't necessarily even psychic all the time. They are
Right.
cyclically psychic, and that's where that kind of is it coming from the universe thing comes in. So what I
Exactly.
think a big thing you're doing is holding space for the psychicism in people without giving them that crazy label. I mean, I think one of the beauties of what I see you doing is just saying like this is a vision. Like your son's not going to be called schizophrenic by you. He's going to be listened to by you, and that is a gift in and of itself.
And as I teach them, because sometimes, like my daughter can hear and, she'll hear voices and she'll question, Mom, what am I hearing? But then other times she'll all of a sudden see her third eye will open and she'll have visions, but then she's not hearing anything. And as I watch the transit, she is a Pisces with a Scorpio rising and a
Wow.
Libra moon. And so when I look at her chart and when I'm watching her, or any of them, their gifts shift. As we go through different transits, we are tapping into different energies. And when we go through different elements based on the astrology and what energy is pulling in with that, we can harness and activate different levels of our gifts. And the more we're open, the
Mhm.
more we can receive and the more good we can bring into our lives as well as bring into other people's lives. You
Yeah.
know,
People shapeshift on their transits. Like I feel auras. I'm a Pisces moon square Neptune, and like I feel that, and they shapeshift. Like if they have a lot in Cancer, they'll send plasma out up here, and if they're Scorpio, they send plasma down here. And it's like, and I keep my flow open all the time, and I feel auras all the time. I'm just like, oh, Scorpio on me. But I choose to not shut it down. I let it open up, and then, but I guess maybe. No, I do want to
and
get to what you do, like as a shaman. I know you say you don't super love the word shaman, but what kind of services do you offer people as far as your work goes?
I can do energy clearings, I can do soul retrievals, but I will tell you that I will only do those in the highest good. I will ask and get divine guidance from my ancestors, from spirit, and find out if it is something that should be done. I am a master in sacred geometry. I do work with the shamanic animals. They come to me and they aid in anything we need to do, whether we are cleansing the body of different health issues, whether we are helping with the mental spaces, whether we are activating gifts, expanding upon gifts. Sometimes people want to bind their gifts for a while because it's too much, it's too intense. We can do all of that. We can really, I'd like to say the sky's the limit because there hasn't been anything so far that I haven't been asked to do that one spirit led me to understand or get the lesson before I was guided to do it, or it's something that someone will come upon me and ask. And if I haven't done it, I ask my ancestors, I ask the guides. But I have a south node of Sagittarius. Sagittarius, south nodes in Sagittarius tends to mean that you came into this life with gifts, spiritual gifts previous in your last life. And those gifts will return to you in this life.
Yeah, do you
Naturally,
have a Sag moon?
I do.
Yeah, you have that moon Jupiter Uranus South Node conjunction. Like you're on born on eclipse, I think.
Yes,
You're a
yes.
heck of psychic chart.
I got a five placements in Sag.
Yeah.
So yes, I am I have a lot that comes in naturally. People can talk to me. I can feel people's medical. I'm a medical medium as well. I can walk into a room. In fact, the fair we were at, I walked into the room and I could instantly tell somebody was having a medical issue. I didn't know who it was at first, but I could feel they were over in the right-hand corner. I walked over there and one of our vendors was having a full-on diabetic attack. She had gone into full shakes, but until I identified it and communicated and offered assistance energetically as well as offered a piece of candy, it wouldn't leave me. At that same fair, a woman walked in, and as soon as she walked in, I could hear the words dementia, dementia screaming at me. And she's a lovely woman. I know her. She helps out at the fair some from time to time. And, she was standing there and I just knew that I was guided to tell her, ma'am, you're on early stages of dementia. It's time to start keeping notes. It's time to start writing your passwords in a book. And it was so interesting because she was questioning it. She had set up a doctor's appointment and her mother and her grandmother had both had dementia, and she was suspecting that she might. And she broke down into full tears, you know, thanking me for the confirmation of what she needed. That same fair, we had another gentleman who came in who was schizophrenic. And I don't get too irritated as a spiritual person most of the time, but
I
I will
remember
say
him.
that particular fair, I got pretty irritated because we had another person that was there who told him that he was brain damaged and he could never heal it. He could never be a normal person.
Hmm.
And as I teach, what is normal? Normal is saying that, I mean, if we're classifying normal as being like somebody else, well, that's boring. None of us are like anybody else. I don't care how you try to be, you can never be someone else. You can only be yourself.
Mhm.
And a label only blocks you as much as you're willing to let it block you. Society will program you and train you to be under these labels, these boxes, these conditions, but we're not supposed to be. That has been the historical facts of society for generations, eons. And that is where we're at right now in astrology, that it's time to bust out. It's time
Well,
to change.
and that's what
Right.
astrology knows is that we're each individuals. Like people always think they get to know somebody by seeing their body or talking to them on a date for one time. And I'm like, until you've watched that chart with one turn of the sun, you don't know all the aspects of that personality. Yeah, and so the astrologers really we hold down that individuality layer of identity politics, right? There's ever all this gender and class and race layer, but we're the individuality layer over here, you know. So I agree with you that everyone
I,
is truly unique.
I was guided to astrology very early. I was always attracted to the stars, but astrology really helps with the shamanic understanding of when to tap into different energies, when to harness. Like when we're going through a water sign, you will find that all of your spiritual gifts start activating higher and more. But the beauty of it also is that if you go to water during a water season, during a water sign, you will find that you receive a lot more downloads, channels. If you're dealing with a lot more emotional trauma, a lot more things on the emotional level that you're trying to get out of your system, you go to the water. The water will help you transmute that energy. It's just like going to a fire, going to bonfires, lighting candles. If we're going through fire season, you'll also find that your sexual energy is going to pick up during fire season. Your libido is going to pick up. So
And you're
when
a
you
good
want,
astrologer, Jay-Z. Are you impressed with Diane's astrology?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm
so
impressed with everything.
Yeah. I know. Jay-Z's so impressed he's not even saying anything. 'Cause he's like,
Yeah, well, I do have a question that I want to ask, and that's so getting back to kind of like the or starting with the YouTube video short flashes that you get, and then like you see something, and then it's decades later that it happens in reality. Like, how do you know that something's or it's like or you hear dementia, and you're like, you need to tell this woman now dementia, like. How does time work even? How do you recognize that when the right time for something is, or this is that thing that you saw a really long time ago, or can you speak a little to that?
yes, actually, it's beautiful because time is not linear. Okay. We have multiple dimensions lying upon each other all at the same time. Some people tell you it's a spiral. Yes, there is some truth to it's a spiral. It's always weaving, it's always expanding. But energy is a vibration. So when you receive a vision, when you receive a download, the beauty of it is that's where free will also falls. We have a choice to hold on to it. We got this vision, we got this knowing, we got this sight of something. Now, when I was a kid and I saw all this, I was like, oh, okay, you know, but I dismissed it. It wasn't something that I was like, ooh, it's got to be like this, holding on for dear life with it. And that's where we choke it because that's control. That is where people really start messing up their manifestations. We're not supposed to hold on to it. We're supposed to receive it, choose it for ourselves, hold it in our heart and say, that's what I want, that's what I desire. And then just keep walking your course forward. If you at that point start going, well, I can't choose that because I know I'm going to have that person one day, well, no, you won't align to that person because the reality is you have to take the journey and the walk with that person to elevate yourself, to learn, to grow and evolve so that you can align with the person you are truly supposed to be with. Nobody said that the walk was a straight path. That is something that, again, society, religions, all kinds of other things are going to put on you, and there is some astrology placements that are definitely a bit more stuck in the mud and not so open to hearing or experiencing change. But when you are receiving these messages, or even if you go to a reader, okay, a reader can tell you what the energy says right now, which you are available for, open to receive right now. But say you receive something and you're like, I don't want that. No. Well, then you know what? That's okay. You can say no. But no doesn't mean all of a sudden trying everything in the world to make sure you don't have that. It means that now you've got to start looking at what within you are you not healing or looking at so that you can walk away from that outcome. It's all about choices. Energy is a choice. And when we lead from our heart and we stay open from the heart space, we can truly manifest and have anything we desire. I dreamed of backpacking Europe since I heard about my grandfather doing it when I was a small child. And I remember seeing visions of it. And I was like, ooh, that's okay. I remember seeing the waters in Greece.
So when you get a vision, you don't say, I have to make that happen right now. Like you might get a vision and then you say, okay, I'm keeping that in the kind of wheelhouse of God's wishes or something
I'm
like
like,
that.
ooh, that's fun. I like that one.
Okay, and then you kind of keep just living your life and then you let kind of the higher power of life weave it through how it wants kind of thing.
Yes, the universe is talking to us every day. I try to teach people to develop a spiritual language. Your language does not have to be my language. Some people connect to numbers. Some people connect to animals. Some people connect to the elements. Some people, like one of my kids, they just know. Man, he walks in and he just says it, and it's like, and he's right. And it's like, dude, you're 8. You have no psychic ability according to your chart, but yet you just have this knowing. You can walk in and you can sense and you can read. All of our gifts aren't the same. It's because of our astrological placements that really define how our gifts come into us this life. An astrologer can really help with that as well, help with understanding what your gifts are. Yes, you can experience all of them periodically, but not everybody gets to keep them all. And that's the other thing that often gets misunderstood within it. People like, well, I had this, or I once upon a time could do this. Well, you can still do it. You just might not be able to connect so well with it right now. But that's not to say in the evolution of your journey that it's not going to come back and it's not here to serve you in divine timing.
Hmm.
Everything is always coming in divine timing. It's the
Yeah.
sense of control that people are constantly battling with, and
Yeah.
that's so
Well,
taught.
you bring up such good points, Diane. Like you're one of the really intelligent psychics I've ever met because it's like it is that dance with I have this ability that I can resurrect right now because I know I can do it. But then does the universe really want me to do that right now? I have this thing I can, so like I think, another shaman I know is like I'm married to the universe. It's like you got to be kind of married to the universe or driving with one hand on the wheel of like I got my universe with me over here and then I'm gonna try over here and you kind of dance that dance. I think that's hard for a lot of
You
people.
just take the wheel.
Is this take the wheel? Oh my God. Okay. I do have to. Do you have a question, Daisy? You look like it.
Oh, you go ahead,
Okay.
Andy.
So I want to know because of this animal behind you and also with all your Sag, how do animals inform your work and like do you resonate with totem animals or what is it tell us about that?
Yes, I receive animals. Every animal has a spiritual meaning, has a spiritual lesson, has a gift to teach you or to show you. You know, um, the crow is all about community. It's all about spiritual connection and constantly receiving. All birds receive. They receive mental intuition, guidance. They might hear. All birds, when they appear, are basically divine connection. Spiritual channeling is always available. Our land animals, they're more grounded. Okay. Our elephants, trust, strength, wisdom. Owl, well, everybody, well, I won't say everybody knows owls. Owls are bookworms. They're knowledge keepers. They're our professors. They're our teachers. The jaguar. The jaguar is something of very, very powerful energy. They have high intuition, high intelligence. They're fierce. They're not afraid to go against the grain, and they're not afraid to attack when it's necessary to attack, although they're going to always stay higher above
Hmm.
and keep that ability to see below from a higher perspective. But they have speed, they have agility. In shamanic practice, a jaguar is one of the most powerful totems when it comes to you. They also are connected to jade. So if you're receiving a lot of jade, you might also start noticing you're seeing a lot of leopard print, jaguar print. They're usually very, very much tied together.
Hmm.
Ascidian will be also connected a lot of times with our crow raven. Basically, they have an ability to see the truth in the dark, see the truth because of the spiritual connection and wisdom. Obsidian helps with the sight. Um, Deers, whether you're a male deer seeing a buck means it's time for leadership. It means gentle leadership, though. Does, deers are all about gentility, but the masculine form is all about the leadership. The doe, the feminine, is all about the nurturing motherhood of leadership. Rabbits, fertility. It's, when a rabbit crosses your path, it means it's time for a new beginning. It's time for things to multiply for you. If you start seeing a squirrel, a lot of squirrels start showing up for you, it
Hmm.
means that it's time for you to start saving, putting away. It means it's time to be a little more conservative with your resources. If you were thinking about just giving something away and you just saw a squirrel, well, it might be time to either hold on to it a little bit longer or sell it. Don't just give it away.
This is what's a spider?
Spider is creation. They
That's my spirit animal is a spider. Sorry.
Spiders are creation. They're the weavers. They're the dream weavers. They have the ability to see and make it manifest. And they're not afraid to do the work. They're beautiful totems, just
Yeah.
like the snake. The snake's a beautiful totem. Although some people would say snakes are very tied to scorpionic energy, they can be very kind of slimy, slithery, but that's not actually the truth. The truth is that what they bring out of you forces you to shed your skin, forces you to recognize deceptive energies about yourself. You can only see deception in another once you've recognized deception within self. It truly is the way that it goes. We're
Oh my
all
God.
mirroring, we're all projecting on
It,
certain levels.
I'm painting an owl right now for Jay-Z. It's two owls.
Oh,
It's him and his friend Debbie. They're the two owls.
beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome. Nice. Yeah, that's my
You're
animal.
yeah, so owls were wisdom.
hmm Yes, wisdom. They're knowledge keepers. They're the professors. There's teachers, natural teachers.
Whoa.
And they're also night owls. There is a reason we say the term night owls. It means that a lot of times they're receiving at night. When the world is calm and the energy is calm, they might even spend more time alone or in darker environments because they actually receive better during those conditions. And
Wow.
they're more open channeled at that time period to absorb and to obtain the information. So owls
Interesting.
are beautiful.
Well, you have a super positive chart. Like you have a very positive mind frame. And I think if anyone was going to go to a shaman, I think they should go to you because you definitely are going to positivize whatever they're going through. And I think and you're so deeply spiritual that it's just woven within you. What is your spirit animal? Is it do you believe in spirit animals?
I do believe in spirit animals. I don't believe I have one though. I have many.
Oh, okay. Okay.
I have many. The crow, the dove, the raven, they're always with me, always around. But the jaguar, it's been one that comes in, even the coyote, which I also tie to Heyoka empaths and Heyoka shamans. And basically, I connect also with lightning and an ability to mirror. But I do a lot of things with humor. You can
Oh
teach
my
a lot.
God, maybe we can clown around sometime because
I
you
love
never
it.
okay. Yeah,
I love
Heyoka
it.
clowns are really inspiring. I would never appropriate a Heyoka clown, but what we do around here is we do a lot of high level fighting on the astrological level, and then we clown around to kind of cut the tension. And we learn from the Heyoka clowns how to do that of just like we do social justice work, but then we clown around, and so it
And
heals.
I'm actually a state advocate on top of doing this. I'm licensed as an independent Washington family state advocate,
Oh my
and I
God.
help with child welfare and domestic violence, sexual assault victims. And so, yeah, I totally have no problem going in there. And, what I do, I love showing up at a conference and reading somebody instantly, and they're like, how did you know
Oh, so
that?
that
It's
was one of
all
the things
over
I
you.
noticed about you is you're just like a total badass on like a lot okay, how do I put this? A lot of psychics go kind of on the weak side of things of like, oh, I need psychic protection and I felt this person's aura and now I'm crumpling and it's like I like strong psychics who go out into the world and do like fierce work, but they take their psychicism with them. It's like why does it have to be a disability? It can be a hyper ability and I really see that in you.
Well, another thing people need to understand, okay, it's energy, okay? If somebody is energetically blocking you, causing you to feel these lower vibrations about yourself, then it's only up to you to do something about it, okay? You need to understand why it's affecting you. You can learn the lesson, look into your inner child, look into your ancestry, look into your lineage, see where that's coming from, okay? Take the lesson. But then it is ultimately your responsibility, no matter who caused or what happened. I don't care how dark it is. Trust me, I've got plenty of stories on that. But it's your responsibility at the end of the day to choose how you put that energy in your life. If that person brings up the memory or brings up that energetic field to you every time you're around them, every time you see them, every time you eat this, every time you wear this, then why the hell are you holding on to it?
Hmm.
Why are you keeping it? Why are you choosing it? I will tell you, I mean, just putting this out there. I was being sold at 10 years old, okay, by my mother. I have one of the best relationships with my mother at this point in my life. I love her. I forgive her. I know that she was on a journey. I understand how she became the woman she was to make those choices. Does that mean that I accept that she made those choices? No, but I cannot change those choices. Is my mother living with me at this point? No. Is my mother going to be anytime soon? No. But I had a phone call with her this morning and I can still send her love, send her energy, send her healing. She got diagnosed with osteoporosis, and I'm like, so mom, does that mean you're struggling right now with feeling like life isn't supporting you? Because every medical ailment ultimately has a spiritual connection, has a metaphysical connection out there that you're holding on to. So if I'm going to truly love and pray for her to heal or to be a better person, then cutting her off and condemning her and wishing all of these negative spaces on her, that's just me holding on to the negative energy. That's me holding on to the pain, the guilt, the shame, and all of these other things. And that closes my channel. That blocks me. I'm not saying it's an easy walk, and it wasn't something I just did overnight. Oh no, I turned my back for about 12 years actually before I chose to open back up and to open that door. And my mother and I went completely silent. Didn't talk to her for nearly 3 years at one point because it wasn't aligned. I had to work on healing me, and
Yeah.
ultimately, me walking away offered her a time and a space to heal things she needed to heal.
Hmm.
And when we came back, there was a beautiful apology and union, and it's been a completely different walk since. Don't get me wrong. We're not yellow brick roading it, but we have
Well,
a
I have to
relationship.
say, you are one of the most inspirational guests we have ever had. I just adore you. I think you are so awesome. JC, it looks like he has a similar feeling right now.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm just fascinated. I really haven't had a lot to say because I'm just like listening and
Yeah.
fascinated by you and just want to hear everything that you have to say
Yeah, totally.
and your perspective and your experience. Yeah.
Yeah, Diane, we would love to have you back someday. But first of all, I want people to be able to get a hold of you if they want healing. If you're in any hard transit, Pluto transit, any Saturn transit you can't figure out, take a try talking to Diane because I think you might feel a little better. Okay, so
Yeah.
Diane, where can people find you?
My website is www.amysticaljourney.com. You can find me on TikTok. You can find me on Facebook. All of it, A Mystical Journey. Um, but I will say I'm even on Instagram. Just message on there because I don't put as much on there. I'll be honest, I'm still working on the social media sides of it all. But my website, easy. You can message me directly off of my website, and if I'm available, I'll respond. And you can book appointments. I do private coaching. I do sacred geometry healings, activations. We can do medical mediumship. There's all kinds of things. If you're got a home need cleansing, anything of that nature, I come out to people's properties. I do mass events. I do small events. So one-on-one, all of it is available. I I will just be very honest with you. If you come in looking for something that is of lower vibration, you're asking me to do harm or do anything negative to someone else, I'm not the person for you. I don't play in the voodoo hoodoo kind of spaces, and there's nothing wrong with that magic. There is a time and place for all of it. But when it comes to my practice, it will only be in the good and highest good. So even soul retrievals, I like to tell people that because that is the one area that I have actually been guided to turn more people down in. Because usually pulling a soul back is it's being a bit on the level of controlling that can be unfortunately very harmful to your soul.
Interesting.
So
Well, we have to wrap up. Diane, a mysticaljourney.com. Just I will email you this link, but email me anything you want written in under the thing in the and we can't thank you enough. I can't wait to send you some present in the mail for doing this.
I really enjoyed this and I truly any questions I'm happy to share and I love having these talks. Happy to come on. So
All right.
another time
We'll
and
hit you up again. All right.
awesome.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.